Bless my soul, is it really? Why, so it is, my dear sir. I had heard that you were not yourself. Fully recovered, I trust. We have met Aeneas Sampson, none such life assurance company. May I? I await a guest, sir. It's in the nature of a celebration. A joyous occasion. An advancement, sir, within my company. And most richly you smile. You're amused? It takes but little, you say, to cause a stir within the confines of so dull a world as mine is. No, no, it is the common opinion. Black ink, white paper, grey walls, and there's an end to it. Assurance, pah, dry as dust. And yet there are matters out of the ordinary. I could tell you a story. No, one will suffice. I will tell you a story that begins where others end. In a graveyard.
Of whom may we seek for succor but of thee, O Lord, who for our sins art justly displeased. Yet, O Lord God most holy, O Lord most mighty, O holy and most merciful Saviour,
let us bear her.
Deliver us not into the bitter
She's with the angels.
Uncle, she was...
Hush, child, hush. It comes to each one of us. The world's a grave.
Shut not
Compose yourself.
ears to our prayer.
Take heart.
But spare us, Lord most holy. O holy and...
Who on earth or from elsewhere is that person? What ails him? Has he aught to do with us? Is he known to any of us?
Uncle, please let us be gone from here.
Of course, my dear. Forgive me. Reverend sir, may we continue? My dear Margaret, if you're quite yourself again.
Yes, Uncle, thank you.
The young man, the person who made the outcry at the cemetery, is he known to you?
Uncle, I could scarcely see him.
Or was he... Could he have been, do you think, acquainted with your poor sister?
Surely not. Whether in London or in Italy, we were hardly out of each other's sight. If there had been a gentleman, dare I say, an admirer.
Ah, it was brutish of me to ask. So, let us from an end to a beginning.
Uncle?
I'm sending you to Scarborough, my dear. I found a most excellent family with whom you will lodge, and at the end of each week, when my business in town is done, I shall visit you. You smile.
Uncle, you're so good to me. But do you really think that where Italy failed in Lydia's case, Scarborough will succeed in mine?
Oh, bless the dear child. Does she think she's ill?
Bless my darling uncle. Does he think I'm well?
Margaret, I confess I'm shocked.
Uncle, you know, that the same illness which in Lydia brought us to that dreadful place to
Stop, you're not yourself. How could you be? You're delicate. Your sister's illness has exacted its price. It is a matter easily put right.
Is it? There's not a day passes when I do not see in my own image the same sun.
No, I forbid this. It is morbid. And it is untrue. Tomorrow you will go to Scarborough and you will be well again. I desire it. I command it.
It was some weeks later, and my first sight of Mr. Julius Skipton told me nothing other than an approximation of his age, an impression of reasonably good health, and the seeming absence of intemperate habits. My business, as I have mentioned, is that of life assurance. And yet in a manner that was annoying for being indefinable. The look of the man was such that my eyes would not let go of him.
Sir,
Who is that with you, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Julius Skipton, sir, of the Middle Temple.
The Temple? Is he a barrister, then?
I think not, sir. For myself and from his appearance, I would have thought him a clergyman. But his card says Mr. rather than Reverend.
Yet you're sure he's not a barrister?
For want of letters after his name, sir.
You should be a policeman, Mr. Adams. What does he want of us?
Merely forms of proposal and reference, sir.
Whose life, his own?
That of a close relative, sir. He professed to have been recommended here by a friend of yours.
Of mine?
He said, there is Mr. Sampson, I see. But as I have not had the pleasure of his personal acquaintance, I shall not trouble him.
He's a well-spoken gentleman, then.
Remarkably so, sir.
And one that knows both my face and my name. Thank you. I want nothing more at present, Mr. Adams. But a few days later, I did indeed make the personal acquaintance of Mr. Skipton at my club, where I'd undertaken to meet my friend Hughes, recently returned from abroad.
Skipton, I believe you have the advantage of my friend, Mr. Sampson. Gentlemen, I beg you, say how do you do?
Honored, sir.
No more than I, sir. I did look in at Mr. Sampson's office on your recommendation.
Ah.
But I was reluctant to trouble the manager himself on a point in the routine of a mere clerk.
Oh, my dear sir, on Hughes' recommendation, I would happily have given you my most particular attention.
I'm sure, sir, and I'm obliged. Another day, when I have real business, I may be less delicate. I know, sir, how precious time can be and what a vast number of impertinent people there are in the world.
You were thinking of effecting a policy upon a life? Thank you.
Just so, upon this life, sir.
Oh.
I have a niece who is as precious to me as a daughter to other men. All the more so because where there were blessedly two, there is now tragically one. And as I intend in the not distant future to take holy orders, I would wish to see this survivor provided for.
Oh, you're prudent, sir.
The church is not the most lucrative of callings. And who knows, it may be that I am fated to be the one to take the poet Hobbes' great leap in the dark.
Well, indeed, Mr. Skipton, I fear it is to be expected. One of the lessons taught by my profession is that the young are so ill-mannered as to go before their elders at all times, except when it comes to dying.
You joke, sir. You are not to know my niece is in poor health.
I'm stupid, I beg your pardon.
She's not robust. I make light of her forebodings. I swear to her that these are matters of the mind, and yet, it is the same illness that...
Sampson, do you dine here?
Why, yes.
Oh, capital. Then we may make a merry threesome. Eh, Skipton?
Yes, it was the very devil of a shock. Oh, your pardon, sir. Well, a shock for us, that is. For young Melton, a tragedy. Poor fellow had not been with us about 3 months when he fell ill.
And died?
Better for him, perhaps, if he had. It was in the nature of a brainstorm. The doctors say he's quite broken up and will never again be capable of business.
How very unfortunate.
He was, beyond question, the most original, the most profound, the most energetic man I've ever encountered in my field. An actuary, you know. It is a rare and precious breed, sir.
Then it is, as you say, a tragedy. And has any reason been assigned for this melancholy condition? Rest assured, I never repeat what I hear.
Oh, Mr. Melton had a certain attachment. He aspired to the hand of a young lady.
Aha. And was refused.
A familiar story. Say no more. Here we have a true villain. Unrequited passion and heartbreak in its wake. Dear me, what a poor outcome for a young man so distinguished and brilliant.
Distinction and brilliance, no armor against death, Mr. Skipton.
Do you mean... Ah, she died. Pray forgive me, I did not know. That indeed makes it very sad. She died. Poor Mr. Melton. You gentlemen are surprised to see me so moved on behalf of a man I have never met, but I, too, have suffered from death. I mentioned, I think, that I had 2 nieces and now have only 1. Their companionship was all I had. And then Lydia fell ill, languished for a time, and was taken. She was no more than 25. I tell you, gentlemen, The world's a grave.
And you say that young Melton's condition is hopeless?
Or what's more to the point, the doctors say so. Apart from the illness that afflicts mind and body, he's lost all desire to live. I've attended upon him these 3 weeks. I've seen for myself.
3 weeks, you say?
Well, perhaps a month. The seizure occurred at the funeral of the young lady of whom I spoke, in the cemetery itself.
Where did you say? In the cemetery?
Yeah. It was a fit of some kind.
At the obsequies of my own niece.
Good heaven, surely not.
Melton? You say it was Melton?
I say nothing. How can I tell?
That's extraordinary.
What a coincidence.
Poor young man. They overpowered him. Led him away. Mr. Sampson, would you be of a mind to call on Mr. Melton in the next day or two? If so, I should be glad to accompany you.
I can understand your curiosity, sir. Yes, yes, come by all means.
Thank you. Your clerk has my card, I think. If not, a note to the Middle Temple will suffice. I must go. I confess to being quite overcome. Dear friends, an excellent dinner. I'm in your debt. Gentlemen.
A bit of an oddity, Mr. Skipton. Wouldn't you say so?
Your oddity, Hughes, not mine. Where did you meet him?
Of all places, on our way home from Italy.
Italy, eh? I wish to God you'd left him there. On what we paid him, Melton could have afforded rather better rooms than these. My own belief is that he had marriage in mind and was saving every penny. Here we are.
Oh, sir, I was that worried. Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. I thought as you was Mr. Melton.
He is not at home.
No, sir. I just this minute brought him up some food and the door was open and I come in and he's been and gone and...
It would seem, sir, that your prodigy is not the invalid you took him for.
I'm Mr. Melton's employer. Might we step in?
Oh, with a will and a half, sir.
This is your house. I mean, you keep it.
Keep it? I have gentlemen, sir.
That's very well, good. When did you last see Mr. Melton?
Last evening, sir. What I mean is I would have seen him, except as how the door was shut and I was on the other side of it.
But he spoke to you.
Well, just to say thank you, Mrs. T, for Thompson, sir. Much obliged, but he'd have no supper. Well, he hardly ever did. All bones and not much flesh. I don't know as how he managed to up and walk out of here.
Bless my soul. It's extraordinary. Look here, I'll give you my card, and if he should return...
Beg pardon, sir.
Yes?
There was this. It was there on the floor as I come in.
Is it addressed to you?
Well, I don't know, I'm sure, so I'd as soon be rid of it.
To those, if any there be, who are curious. Oh, no.
What is it?
The doctors have been so unfeeling as to deny me what the river in its kindness will not. When the heart is dead, there is no life. Pray for me.
What does it mean, sir?
It means that my young friend, and I think yours, is no more.
He has made away with himself?
Given his condition, I'm sure of it.
Oh, sir.
Oh, this must be put into the hands of the police. They will most certainly call on you. I'm obliged. Mr. Skipton, there is much to attend to.
To be sure.
How dreadful! That young man. A life of fulfillment ahead of him. Who could have foreseen such a dire ending?
Indeed. Suicide. The loss not merely of a life, but of a soul. Terrible.
My dearest uncle, I was much cheered by your latest visit. At this time of the year, there are few diversions in Scarborough, particularly if one is not in rude health, and I cannot sufficiently express my gratitude that you should neglect your affairs too. neglect your affairs to travel so far. To my regret, I must repay your devotion by saying that since you left, I have been confined to my lodgings. The spells of dizziness, the headaches, and the other distressing symptoms have returned so that
I say, look here, sir, this uproar is most unseemly.
I beg your pardon?
Sir, I ask myself, is this the Middle Temple or is it Bedlam?
Are you my neighbour?
Why,
Delighted, sir. Alfred Beckwith at your service. Today I begin a new life. Don't you think that's capital?
No doubt it is, if you had the kindness to bear in mind.
Oh, forgive me, sir. I'm so excited. What a day this is. A day that shall be written down on the calendar of my life in letters of fire. I have escaped from prison and found sanctuary.
From prison?
Oh, the prison, sir, of an excellent home and a loving family. I have cast off the shackles of their affection and am on my own at last. Come.
What is this?
Sir, you are sent from heaven. You'll, join me?
Oh, thank you, but I have affairs which...
Which can dashed well wait. You are a Christian, sir. Then you would not suffer me to propose my own good health. You'll pardon my room's disarray, and my own. The fact is, I'm not only excited, but ridiculously pleased with myself to be in London.
Is your first visit, then?
Oh, not a visit, sir. Henceforward, it is my home. I am a native of Norfolk, and for years have implored my dear mother to... well met. To release to me the inheritance bequeathed by my late father and held in trust. And finally, when I'd given up all hope, she yielded, bless her. And here I am.
Oh, no.
Oh, I insist. Now, to what shall we drink? Yes, that we shall always be the best of neighbors.
Mr. Adams, do you recall a Mr. Julius Skipton who came here some few weeks ago?
Yes, sir. A small matter. He asked for a formal proposal.
You said, I think, that the life in question was that of a close relative.
Just so, sir.
And not his own life?
No, sir.
You could not have been mistaken.
Your pardon, Mr. Sampson. It is not our business to be mistaken.
Quite true. Good night to you, Mr. Adams.
Good night, sir.
Is anyone there? Hello, I say. Who's there? You.
I think, my dear, here is your friend again.
My friend, Uncle.
I mean, The elderly person you like to refer to as your shadow.
Why, so it is. Whenever I walk on the sands, he's never very far away.
Pertinence.
He comes here for his health, I think. And only at the week's end, as you do. He's not at all disrespectful. He never attempts to speak or make a sound. I think of him as my silent friend.
Silent nuisance, I would have said. You take the fellow is following us. I dislike being followed. Come, let us take some tea. The wind is rising. There is a distinct chill. Tut, have we not forgotten something?
Have we, Uncle?
I mean, dear child, have you not forgotten this?
Oh, yes. Yes, so I had. But I see that the kindliest of uncles has remembered.
And for shame, I'm sure you quite neglect yourself when I am not here.
Perhaps I do. But I really believe that the medicine is doing no good at all. I feel not in the least improved. Indeed, its bitterness
My
seems
dearest
to...
Margaret, if I pay a cobbler, do I then mend my own boots? We pay a doctor for his good advice, do we not?
Yes, Uncle.
Then let us either have done with him or do his bidding. Besides, a medicine must take its time. We're not dealing with a magic elixir. Mr. Sampson?
I looked and I wondered. I thought, can it possibly be Mr. Skipton?
You here in Scarborough?
A matter of business, which I'm combining with enjoyment. Pardon me, is this the young lady of whom I've heard you speak?
Yes. May I present my niece, Miss Margaret Niner, Mr. Sampson?
A pleasure, Miss Niner. As rare as it is unexpected. Do you stay here at the hotel?
No, Mr. Sampson. But when my uncle comes from London to visit me...
Then we make a holiday of it, eh, my dear?
How splendid. Well, perhaps I intrude.
Not at all. Of course, you will join us. Waiter. Chair.
I'm obliged. I confess to being fond of company. And while I'm no stranger to Scarborough, I haven't yet seen a face to which I can put a name. Barring your own, that is.
Alas, we're out of season.
Like partridges in April. Not ready yet for the huntsman.
Droll.
Uncle, perhaps since Mr. Sampson is acquainted with Scarborough, he'll know who my shadow is.
Shadow, Miss Niner?
I call him that. Most mysterious, but I think amiable old gentleman who follows me along the promenade and on the sands in a hand carriage.
Follows you, upon my word.
Although I think that my shadow is like myself, not very robust. For I lose my shadow sometimes, and my shadow loses me at other times. And as I've explained to my uncle, I see him not at all except at the week's end.
Dear Miss Niner, if you're telling me that you have an admirer, I'm not in the least surprised.
I think he's a dotard.
Uncle.
Dear, if you had a score of admirers, no one would be happier than I. But this person dogs our footsteps. We're no longer 2, but 3.
You've seen him?
On the sands, not 10 minutes ago, indeed. The hand carriage may still be there.
Extraordinary. No. Oh, dear me, how clumsy, Miss Niner.
It's nothing.
I'm not fit for society. Waiter, a napkin here. What stupidity.
Mr. Sampson, pray say no more. The truth is, you've done me a service.
Oh, Margaret.
You've saved me, sir, from a medicine so bitter and detestable that any sensible invalid would 1,000 times prefer her illness to such a cure.
For shame, child.
See how I torment my poor uncle, who's so good to me. No matter. Sure that as soon as I pour some more tea, he'll undo your good deed, sir, by pouring in more medicine.
Perhaps later.
Oh?
You seem in such good spirits this afternoon that perhaps an hour's gaiety is in itself the best restorative. Until this evening, we'll talk no more.
What is it? A shadow. Is that he? Never.
This is impertinence.
Uncle, they're here by accident, I'm sure of it.
If I thought otherwise...
The poor gentleman is old and feeble. What harm could he intend?
Miss Niner, would you allow me to be of assistance?
You, Mr. Sampson?
You. Hello, I say. Yes, I mean you, sir. Here, if you please. Are you employed by that old gentleman?
I have that honour, sir.
I believe I've had the privilege of his acquaintance, but it was so long ago that his name at present escapes me. Does he live in Scarborough?
London, in Highgate.
And the gentleman's name?
Thank you, but I serve only one employer at a time. He's Major Sir Edmund Banks, late of the East India Company.
What an insolent fellow. Wait a minute. What name did he say? Major Sir Edmund Banks. By all that's strange, I do know him. My deception turns out to be no less than the truth. And Miss Niner, your shadow is, I think, about to become substance. Permit me.
Mr. Sampson, we would assume...
Uncle, how thrilling. I believe Mr. Sampson is right. I'm about to meet my shadow.
Margaret, it is unseemly.
But the poor gentleman is old. We cannot suffer him to come to us. Uncle, will you meet him?
No. I think not.
Miss Niner, speak softly. The Major cannot hear. I must see you alone here tomorrow.
Alone?
A life depends upon it.
A life?
What time do you meet your uncle?
Well, I come here to take coffee with him at 11. He walks until then on the promenade.
Meet me here at 10. By your sister's memory, do not fail.
But Mr.
I beg you. Dear Miss Niner.
I could not come as I promised. I'm ill.
Please come. Sit here.
Ill and to death, I think.
No, we'll not have that. Some water.
Yesterday I was quite well. And then last evening...
You will not be ill again, I promise. Here, drink this. Miss Niner, listen to me. You are in danger.
Sir,
Let me speak. If you are out there and hemmed in by the rising tide, you could not be in greater peril.
Sir, you frighten me.
Do I? Then there is hope. Child, as I am before heaven your friend, and your dead sister's friend, I implore you. You must collect your strength and do as I bid you.
My strength, sir, I have none.
In a minute it will be too late. He will be upon us. Miss Niner, do you trust me?
Yes. Yes, I believe I do.
Then you shall not die. An effort, then, the mightiest of your life. Go to the sands. Go now, this instant. There lies safety.
But, Mr. Sampson,
Go or you die, for God's sake!
Mr. Sampson, good morning to you. You are taking coffee?
I was about to. Won't you join me?
Thank you. My, niece is not here?
No, she's not here. Waiter! Waiter! Here, if you please. This gentleman and I will take coffee.
But my niece?
Oh, to be sure. She will be with us upon the instant. Coffee for 3, waiter.
What do you want, Beckwith?
I find myself out of funds.
Indeed.
I can't account for it. Unless, somebody picked my pockets. That's it. Oh, this is a magnificent city of yours, eh? An honest fellow can't set foot in an alehouse, but the wolves are upon him. I say, Julius. Julius Caesar Skipton.
Yes?
Well, be a good fellow. Come, this once.
Once. Once. How many ones make 1,000?
Come, be a friend, eh?
Loathsome creature, how dare you touch me? A friend, did you say? A friend of yours? Is that what I am, an intimate of drunkards? You've no pride, have you, Beckwith? You are the most miserable of creatures. As I am the most soft-hearted. One day, I shall answer to the judge of all mankind for this. One more. One more, and that is all. All. Do you hear me, Beckwith?
Yes. Oh, you're a good fellow, Julius Caesar. And I shan't trouble you beyond another week. You are to be rid of me.
I'm sure I am.
It's true. I had damned unpleasant news not an hour ago. My family, bless them, say I'm not to be sent another halfpenny. If I don't return to their beloved bosom by the end of the month, I'm going to stay here and die in the gutter.
You want to return home?
Yes. If I am of a mind to live.
You could stay and find honest work. It was your intention.
Work? You think there exists anybody who would employ me?
No, perhaps not. Well, then your way is clear. You must do your family's bidding, and you and I must complete our business sooner than we intended.
Business? Do we have business, Julius Caesar?
Oh, yes, yes, indeed. And a reward for you at the end of it. It is a matter that takes me out of doors, but when I return, we shall drink to our common good fortune. Do you find that idea appealing? In the meantime, I know that however low a man may sink, he remains a gentleman and to be trusted.
Yes, of course.
Excellent.
Here's Mr. Sampson now, sir. A melancholy day for him. Indeed, for us all.
Oh?
Excuse me, sir.
If I'm at all in the way.
Is there a message?
A lame person, sir.
Well?
He said, the last day of the month, sir.
Mr. Skipton, how pleased I am to see you.
Mr. Sampson, how very kind. You were once so good as to offer me the honor of your particular attention.
Of course. Pray be seated.
It is a matter on behalf of a young friend and neighbor of mine, but if the time is inconvenient...
Not at all. But first, what news of Miss Nina?
None.
Dear me.
I'm sorry to say that my niece has proved treacherous and ungrateful to her best friend. Since you and I parted at Scarborough, there has not been a word of explanation or regret. I can only come to the conclusion that she's been conducting a shameful liaison behind my back. She's been misled, I've no doubt, by a designing blackguard.
Yes, I did hear that.
Ah, in Scarborough?
Well, my information is that she has been the victim of an unscrupulous rogue.
So, she deserves her fate, deserves it.
Yes, I believe she does. And now, sir, might we to business? This has not been the happiest of days. A body has been taken from the Thames.
No, Melton's body?
Just an hour ago, I so identified it.
How terrible.
Just so. The world's a grave.
Yes.
So you will understand, I hope, why the daily round of business, be it as dusty as these files, is a welcome distraction.
Dear friend, say no more. Mr. Alfred Beckwith, who lives on the same staircase as I, wishes a policy on his own life. He's from the country and knows little of such matters, so I have offered to be of assistance.
You're that kind of person, sir. Mr. Beckwith has a particular sum in mind?
£2,000.
In that case, he will need a reference. No doubt you will oblige.
Oh, dear me. Well, yes, I dare say I know him well enough. He is anxious, however, that the proposal be accepted before the end of the month. He's leaving town.
Well, in that case, perhaps he'll be good enough to complete this form without delay. As to the reference, why, we may dispose of that here and now. Have you known Mr. Beckwith for long?
For some years. 3 years.
What are his habits?
Temperate, sir, to the last degree. Indeed, it may be that he takes a little too much exercise.
And his character good, would you say?
Exemplary.
Thank you. If you would, sign at the bottom.
Is that all?
Well, as we're so well acquainted, I think I can supply the other details without troubling you.
So very kind. Beckwith, wake up. Come to yourself, do you hear me? It's for our business. Wake, I say.
Julius Caesar.
Clear your head and pay heed. Listen. Are you listening?
Boil the brandy, that's a good fellow. Do your usual office. Brandy for breakfast and dinner, tea and supper. Boil the brandy. Give it to me. The love of God, man.
Yes, you shall have it for the love of God when our business is done with. You there, come in. Sign this.
This? What's this?
Oh, do you care? Can it matter to you what it is? Have you money that I can steal or property you can be cheated of?
No. I don't trust you.
And now this, and you are done. Come, this is to be witnessed. Sign.
Begging your honour's pardon, but I never learned.
What is your name?
Jenny Grace, your honour.
Very well. Then make your mark. Jenny Grace. Now you.
Last will and testament.
Never mind what is written. It is not your business. Sign. Now, both of you, get out. We have done well together, you and I. Our accounts are in order. No irregularities. And at the end of the month, you shall go home. And we may close our books. Until then, why, my dear fellow, your credit is infinite.
Quarter to the hour, Mr. Adams.
Yes, sir. And as you instructed, the lady and the cab are waiting, sir.
Mr. Skipton, my friend.
Oh, what's this then? No Julius Caesar?
I can't do it. I can't go.
What's that you say?
I can't face it.
Nonsense. It's a rain.
I say I cannot. For a day I have been temperate. Drink has not passed my lips. Last night I could not sleep. I stayed awake. In my room, the most dreadful phantoms staring and accusing.
These are imaginings.
One day, one short day, and I'm near madness. I can't go. I shall stay in London.
And die?
Yes.
Die? In a gutter? To the shame of those who hold you most dear? No, you cannot. And look not to me for help, my friend. My role is played out, except perhaps for this. A bottle to keep you company on the journey, and this. A parting drink between good neighbours. I do not partake, you know that, but this once. Come, the coach leaves on the hour.
Cannot. My family.
They will rejoice to see the prodigal return. They will restore you in health. Come, let's drink and have done with it.
My greatcoat.
Well?
It's in there.
Well?
There are phantoms. I escaped from them once, and now they wait.
There is no one.
Because I saw them. A woman. The face of one who is dead.
She exists in your mind.
I won't go in there. You can't make me
The
go in.
matter of a greatcoat is all that stands between us, then it is a matter easily disposed of. Upon my word, you're nearer to the grave digger than I thought. Devil take the fellow. Does he take Dave for... Who is it? Who's there?
Why, Uncle? Why?
Lydia. Am I to be told the meaning of this? Margaret, what do you do here?
I have come, Uncle, to find out if what I have been told is truly so.
Told? What is it that you've been told?
Why, sir, that you're a murderer. You insured her sister's life and took that life for common gain.
You are mad.
You used the coward's method. Poison.
Good. Capital. More, if you please. This slander will tell a pretty tale before an honest judge. Listen to him, Margaret. Pay heed. If he has a penny to his name, I mean to have it.
I think you will stay.
And I think that you, sir, are mistaken. Goodbye, Margaret. You have made a foolish choice of protector.
Mr. Crane, this person is not to leave.
I see. Well done. You are determined to make my fortune.
Your fortune, Skipton, is the gallows.
Is it a crime to insure a life, Mr. Sampson? If so, you'd better have a care for your own neck. It's more in danger than mine.
It's true at first. I had no proof.
And still have none.
But then one night a young man came to my house. A man I thought raised from the dead.
What?
You saw him first at Lydia's funeral. Then later on, much later, on the sands at Scarborough, in disguise.
Banks? Sir Edmund Banks, the old man?
Together we saved this child you had already poisoned half to death.
Poisoned? What? Poisoned? Where's your proof?
The proof, Skipton, is beyond that door.
Melton?
Come in, Charles.
But this man is not...
I think you know my name. Charles Melton. It was I that all but lost my mind when the young girl I loved was done to death. And it was I who roused myself, knowing that having lost her, I had one object left in life: to hunt down and destroy her murderer.
Murder? There was no murder. She was ill.
And it was I who saw into your greed. I knew that once Margaret was rescued from the poisons which you called medicines, you would look about you for another victim. And so I came to you as a profligate and drunkard, Alfred Beckwith. You think yourself a wolf, don't you, Skipton? But you're a dull wolf. You have no eyes. You never saw that your victim drank not a 50th part of the liquor you plied him with. I poured it away almost under your very nose. And at first, I was to be done to death with brandy. Is that not so? And then when I told you my family had summoned me home to Norfolk, oh, there was your chance. No need for the slow death of a drunkard. There was poison in the farewell glass, and there was poison in the bottle for the journey.
Lies, these are lies!
Evidence is with the police.
How did you know?
Because I know you, Skipton, as I know myself. And now, at last, the police will have reason to open a certain grave. And I shall have done my work. Take him, Mr. Crane.
Easy, sir. No foolishness.
Oh, none at all. Well, I shall not need to labor in the vineyard of the Lord after all. My reward is not delayed. It is now!
Such was the fate of Julius Skipton, murderer and hypocrite. In the end, and for all his scheming, the only person he succeeded in cheating was the public hangman. My dear boy, what a pleasure. Sir, I have the honor of introducing Mr. Melton, my new assistant manager.